60 Minutes Overtime.
See how high those stacks are? Totally jammed up.
This week on 60 Minutes, we reported on the crisis in the supply chain. Because of the pandemic, so many of us, so many Americans, were at home with very little more to do than point and click on Amazon. We went on a pandemic shopping binge. We ordered a lot of stuff. It's been coming across in record numbers for a year, so it's piling up at the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles because the system wasn't able to handle what we were calling a tsunami of goods flowing in. If you are at home and you're ordering something and that something is made in Asia, it's almost guaranteed that that good is going to be imported through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Those are the busiest ports in the U.S. 40% of all imports into the U.S. come through those ports. Ordinarily, the goods, the cargo, are put on containers. And those containers are carried across the ocean on these huge ships. We were on one that was the length of 3 football fields, and the containers are piled up to 9 stories. It's huge ships, lots of containers. Ordinarily, it takes about 2 weeks to cross the ocean. They usually pull into the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. It used to take a day or so to get them out of the port. Now it's anybody's guess how long it's going to take to get them out of the ports. Once they get dropped off at the port, they're usually picked up by truckers. We've heard a lot of complaints that there is a lack of truckers. The folks who are working with the truckers at the port say they have enough truckers. They had the same number of truckers they had a year ago. It's just that the amount of goods coming out is just overwhelming. The way it usually works is a trucker will bring an empty container back to the port, and once the containers pile up, they get enough empty ones, they put them back on a ship, send them back to Asia. But now, because there's no room at the port for the empty containers, when a trucker wants to bring in an empty to get a full container to put on the road, they can't do it. There's no room for the empties. The truckers now have to make an appointment. They find out, oh, there's an empty space at Terminal A. So let me get in line so I can drop this off at Terminal A and then I can pick a container up. Well, there's so many truckers trying to get in for that one little space that they're all lined up at the gate to the port, hoping to get in to get that empty space. And most of them get turned away. So the trucks with the empty containers go back to these lots. And there are lots all over Southern California full of empty containers sitting on the chassis. Those chassis are needed to take the empty container in, take the full container out. They can't be returned. There's no space for them to be returned. So the whole system is broken down. And they're finding the same thing with rail. The rail companies are moving as much as they always did, but there's so much more to be moved now that the old ways, the old habits, the old pace is just not good enough to meet this problem. Before this crisis, you would point and click, you'd order it, and you'd expect it to show up in, sometimes days. Now, people are waiting months. Everybody is trying to respond with some piece of the solution, but so far it hasn't all come together in a complete puzzle, and it doesn't look like it's all going to come together before Christmas.